Cycle Talk TV is brought to you by Ducati, Kawasaki, KTM, Harley-Davidson, On Two Wheels Motorsports, Polaris, Triumph and Victory. In this episode of Cycle Talk TV, we thrash Ducati's Multistrada 1200 Special Edition Pikes Peak model. We get down to the Barkbusters factory in Wollongong. This is the first name in handguards, and we jump on a bike and thrash them through the bush too. Brian Dyer, our resident classic bike enthusiast, goes to the Pelican Rally for this week's hit of Classical Gas. And Matt O'Connell won the office competition, got to go to Italy for the launch of the KTM RC390, and that's where we're starting.
Well, it's a tough life, but we're here in Maranello, Italy for the launch of the KTM RC390. Now, Maranello is well known as the home of Ferrari, but for the next couple of days, it's going to be overrun by orange bikes. Now, this orange bike in particular has been eagerly awaited for some time. That's because of its class-leading power-to-weight ratio for learner riders. It's light, it's nimble, and take a look at it, it looks very sporty. The riding position is sporty. It's a real statement bike. Taking a look at the early drawings of the 390, you can see where the designers picked up some inspiration from the RC8R. But the standout is in performance. The 375cc single-cylinder four-stroke engine produces 32 kilowatts at 9,500 RPM. The entire bike is just under 150 kilograms dry. Now, we've just taken the RC390 out for its first road ride in the hills surrounding Maranello. It can be pretty tight and twisty at times, but it suited this bike perfectly. The handling is really good. We've got a lot of confidence from tipping into the corners. The suspension, even though it's not adjustable, it gave a lot of confidence. So that's great for the learner rider. The engine has a lot of mid-range. If you keep it in that mid-range, you've just got plenty of power to use and get through your corners nice and easily. Transmission also tight and responsive, and the gears I thought were really well spaced. One thing I would have liked a little bit more of was a bit more bite in the front brakes. Once I got used to it, it wasn't too bad, especially considering the compression coming back from that single cylinder engine. All right, so we've been out here with the RC390 for a good session out on the Italian roads this morning. They're unlike anything you're going to find in Australia, and now we're at the racetrack to give it a go around the track in closed circuit conditions. Let's take a closer look at some of the components. The brakes, which I spoke about earlier, are made by Burberry. They are engineered by Brembo, but made in India. Up front, you've got a 300mm disc with 4-piston calipers. On the rear, a 230mm disc with a single piston. One thing I did like was the ABS, and that's switchable on or off from the dash. The WP suspension handles the shock absorption duties, and there's a single monoshock mounted on the rear that's adjustable for preload. Up front, you've got 43mm upside down forks. Now, even though these are not adjustable, that's still a fat shock for this type of bike. I was also really impressed with the build quality. Check out the detail in the swing arm and the trellis frame. Everything looks to be really well integrated, including the lighting, which is full LED front and rear to maintain that modern look. Now, KTM take their Ready to Race slogan pretty seriously, and you can see that in the front seat. It's racer style. But take a look at the rear seat. It's a thing of beauty. It's a moulded rubber that you can sit on, but it looks like a cow. If you're a young guy and you want to have fun on the track, here you go, this is your thing.
The KTM RC390's price has just been announced at $8,295 plus on-road costs. It's learner legal right across the country. You'll get more information from your KTM dealer or ktm.com.au.
The Pikes Peak Hill Climb is a very famous motor racing event in America, and for 4 consecutive years up until 2013, a slightly modified Ducati Multistrada 1200 won the motorcycle event outright, beating all the so-called superbikes. The Ducati Multistrada 1200 is generally seen as an all-roads touring style motorcycle, but those Pikes Peak victories showed that the bike is capable of much more. And of course, Ducati decided to bring out a customer version, something you could go and buy from your local Ducati dealer. And it's got all the bells and whistles. It's got the competition sort of inspired paint scheme, Termignoni exhaust, carbon fibre everywhere, and beautiful lightweight wheels. All Ducati Multistrada 1200 models get the Testostrada 11 degree L-twin engine, but the Pikes Peak model also gets the Sachs Skyhook semi-active suspension. Simply put, it's a superbike engine in a chassis designed to take you anywhere and everywhere. Forget any preconceived ideas that you might have about Ducati engine reliability. The new Testostrada engine has a 24,000 kilometre valve clearance maintenance schedule. And the new 11 degree motor with a reduced valve overlap has made the bike just nicer on the road overall. It's got better low and mid-range performance and a less edgier feel. Now the bike's pretty technical. There's 4 power modes that you can select. It goes from sport, touring, urban, down to enduro. And the bike, or the bike's brain, decides what the default settings are. So if you go sport, you get full power and you get firmer suspension. If you go all the other way to enduro, softer power and softer suspension. But if that's not enough for you, what you can do is get in and personally tailor each setting to suit what you want. So for example, if you want full power, you can select full power for sport and softer suspension in sport. So overall, you can just tailor it to whatever you like. Now I've ridden plenty of Ducati Multistrada 1200 models, but the Pikes Peak, I believe, is the best one I've ever ridden. It's got much more of a street motard vibe to it, and I think this is because of the shorter screen. It makes the bars feel a little bit higher and wider. It's also got the lightweight wheels, which make the bike very flickable in turns. And overall, it's just a fantastic bike to ride on the road.
It's in sport mode. We'll just do a nice quick takeoff and see how it reacts with traction control on 4. Whoa! Yeah! Don't do that at home, boys and girls.
And as I said before, the engine is very much a superbike style engine, but with that, the reduced overlap that the Ducati engineers have dialed into this motor, it's just made it a much more user-friendly engine to use. It's definitely smoother down low, whereas before, if you weren't doing 3,000 revs and above, the thing felt very snatchy. No longer. This bike is just easy to ride, whether it be around town or on the open road. And man, does this thing have some grunt. Whatever the Ducati engineers have done to the engine, they certainly haven't reduced the top end power of this bike. So who's going to buy a Pikes Peak Multistrada 1200? Well, I think it's the performance oriented rider, someone who's maybe stepping off a sports bike but who can't really handle the riding position anymore because they are pretty aggressive. Whereas with this Pikes Peak, you get superbike performance but in a package that's much more comfortable and can handle crap roads. At $31,990, this is the most expensive Multistrada 1200 you can buy. But I don't think it's going to come down to the price. I think the person who's going to buy this bike is going to come in, they're going to be seduced by the lashings of carbon fibre, the paint scheme, the lightweight wheels and the performance, because they're going to buy a bike that is one of the best Ducatis I've ever ridden in my entire life, and I've ridden plenty of them. This bike is very, very special.
As Chris mentioned, the Ducati Multistrada 1200S Pikes Peak is $31,990 plus on-road costs. You can find them at Ducati dealers everywhere, and more information at ducati.com.au.
Everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. What separates some of us, though, is what we throw a leg over after our pants are on. The new Harley-Davidson Breakout motorcycle. Breakout.
Come down to On Two Wheels Motorsports, Sydney's best motorcycle shop and a proud sponsor of Cycle Talk TV, with a huge range of new Yamaha and Kawasaki motorcycles and ATVs, as well as a huge range of spares and all the accessories you're likely to need. On Two Wheels can help get you into the right bike at the right price with the right accessories and the right advice. On Two Wheels Motorsports, 304 Queen Street, Campbelltown. Find us online on social media or call us on 02 4625 7518.
Didn't know anything till I was told everything about you. And though I tried to hide, my smile gets wider every day. But now I can't deny the white of your eyes. It got me feeling the strain of how I couldn't speak every time I heard your name.
Lowrider is back and rides even lower.
Read Cycle Talk Magazine's October issue, out now. On the cover are the 2015 model Harley-Davidson Road Glide Special and the Sherco 300 SER, a big American tourer and a lithe French enduro machine. You can read the October issue in print from better bike shops across Australia, on your computer or Android device through cycletalk.com.au in our PDF edition. But the best way to enjoy Cycle Talk is on an iPad or iPhone, which has everything in the print edition plus embedded video, slideshows and lots more pictures. And it's all free. Download the app from the App Store and then subscribe free and download back issues too. All of Cycle Talk's editions, electronic and print, are free. Check out more information on Cycle Talk on our website, cycletalk.com.au, and on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.
Last weekend, the Central Coast Classic Motorcycle Club held its 31st annual Pelican Rally. This rally was held on the central coast of New South Wales, that's about an hour north of Sydney. This was a great chance to see a fine collection of old classic motorcycles, enjoy some friends, some good food, and go on some beautiful rides through the picturesque valleys of the Central Coast.
Basically, the rally is a get-together of like-minded enthusiasts. In our case, it's people who have an interest in vintage, historic and classic motorcycles.
Every year we try to vary the format. We are limited on the Central Coast in that there are only a certain number of roads that are suitable for this type of event, bearing in mind some of the vehicles are not able to maintain a full official speed limits all the time. So we do tend to try and use roads which are not heavily trafficked.
The base and starting point for this year's Pelican Rally was at Camp Breakaway in San Remo. After a few coffees, a barbecue brekkie and some friendly chat, we were ready to hit the road on our first leg of the rally. Once we got through some light traffic to YE, the road opened up to an enjoyable scenic ride through the Duralong Valley, where at the local hall the usual array of sweet delights awaited us for our morning tea break. After the break, the riders headed back out to Huey Road, and this time we ventured through the farmlands of the Yarramalong Valley and up Bumble Hill towards Colnura for lunch. There was an option to ride the longer 120k loop through Pete's Ridge or just head straight to Colnura, which was shorter at 70k's. At the Colnura Hall, the bikes are displayed on the oval in their classes for judging. This is a great opportunity to have a look at the bikes and share some stories with the other riders.
I'm here with my B33 BSA. It's a 1955 model. Pretty well Holden and Falcon of its day. After the war, this is the type of bikes that people had, and you used it for everything, going to work, doing the shopping, whatever, and some of them had sidecars on. Yeah, it's a reliable old thing.
The bike I'm riding today is a 71 BMW 600cc stroke 5, first of the 12 volt electric start BMWs. It's got a Tilbrook sidecar from 1951, which is the same date year that I was born, and I've been carrying that around since I was about 17.
The general vibe was pretty relaxed at lunch, and everyone seemed to be enjoying the ride so far.
Been fantastic, the rally so far. We've had good weather. It's a bit cloudy at the moment, but no rain, great roads, great group of guys, great bikes, top show.
Yeah, it's been great. I love going through Yarramalong. Great scenery. I love it.
Oh, mate, this is our probably our 15th or 16th rally here, and they only just get better and better. This is great. The organisation's great. People are great. We get to see these people from year to year, so we all grow old together.
It's been a great day. We've got a lot of new bikes here that I haven't seen from the previous years, and we've got a couple of other clubs that have been involved today, which is really good. You know, everyone's come together. We've got a good atmosphere. There's good morale happening. Everyone's been safe. It's all been sound. The road's been good. It's been dry. What more could we look for? Great day.
After lunch, we headed back to Camp Breakaway for some afternoon tea. The presentation dinner was held at the local RSL. After a meal and some trivia, the presentation got underway and the trophies were awarded to the various categories. So there you have it, another successful Pelican rally. We enjoyed some quiet roads, shared some stories, had a laugh, and best of all, got to see some beautiful old classic motorcycles.
Fearless innovation starts with an attitude. While others claim to be ahead of the curve, we're already leaning into the next one. We're about setting the precedent year after year and letting the rest play catch up. They ride to keep up with today. We ride to own tomorrow.
Everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time. What separates some of us, though, is what we throw a leg over after our pants are on. The new Harley-Davidson Breakout motorcycle. Breakout.
Come down to On Two Wheels Motorsports, Sydney's best motorcycle shop and a proud sponsor of Cycle Talk TV, with a huge range of new Yamaha and Kawasaki motorcycles and ATVs, as well as a huge range of spares and all the accessories you're likely to need. On Two Wheels can help get you into the right bike at the right price with the right accessories and the right advice. On Two Wheels Motorsports, 304 Queen Street, Campbelltown. Find us online on social media or call us on 024625 751. Barkbusters is a name synonymous with Australian motorcycling. For over 30 years, the products have been protecting riders' hands from clipping trees, crashing, and even weather protection. The company was established about 30 years ago, and they still produce the products in Australia, down just south of Sydney in Wollongong. Matthew, thanks for inviting us down to the Barkbusters factory. Now, you purchased Barkbusters from Ted Goddard. What inspired you to become a manufacturer of Barkbusters in Australia?
Well, Nigel, back in the 80s, I raced enduros for many years, and Ted sponsored me back then, and so I got to know the product really well. As time went on, Ted wanted to sell the business to retire, and I was the first person that he asked, because I'd had a bit of work with him developing one of the plastic guards that fitted one of his aluminium backbones. So, you know, we negotiated, I purchased the business, and I'm just amazed at where it's gone since then.
Barkbusters has the best reputation in the market for building the best off-road handguards. The Ego is probably the best known. It's for enduro, trail and mini, and it's the right shape, the right size for that off-road carving. Then there's the Jet. Now these were built to compete with overseas made, cheap, poor quality guards. These are Australian made, still got the aluminium backbone, and a good quality plastic guard as well for dual sport, trail and enduro machines. The VPS can be used for motocross, enduro, supermoto, ATV, adventure touring. They're the most versatile guard on the market. So that's the off-road market. If you don't know about the off-road market, get down to your local bike shop and have a look. What we were really interested in was their new range of road bike guards. I see Barkbusters are now being offered for road bikes. Tell me, why would anyone want to put Barkbusters onto a road bike?
Yeah, well, that's what I thought when I got the first inquiry from a customer requesting Barkbusters for his road bike, and he said that his hands get cold while he's riding, and my first thought was, well, toughen up. But after a few more inquiries like that, I thought, okay, there's some potential here. So not being one to shy away from a challenge, I headed down the development path of handguards for road bikes.
The Barkbusters Storm is one of the results of that research and development, and designed to keep the rider's hands out of the weather. They mount very easily with a single mounting point at the end of the handlebar, and are very, very good at keeping your hands away from that weather.
We did find that some of the bikes with fairings became a bit challenging, some of the sports bikes. So that led us to develop another product, which is the BBZ, which is a fabric handguard. So it tends to flex around the controls, around the fairings and things like that, and not create too much of a problem.
So the BBZ is designed really just for warmth rather than any sort of crash protection or anything else. It's just designed to keep your hands warm.
Yeah, that's right. The BBZ's sole purpose was to keep the hands warm and dry in blizzard type conditions. And the only way we could do it to fit some of these sports bikes, which again, I was quite surprised when guys with sports bike wanted it, but there's guys out there that ride all year round on things like that. So the Blizzard was designed to be flexible, but still support itself and not flap in the breeze, and a simple thing to mount. And one bolt in the end of the handlebar and a strap in near the controls, and then you've got it fitted. And it's been extremely popular.
Well, having ridden a bike in snowing conditions when I was overseas one time, I wish I'd had a set of those on the bike then. The road bike market these days has got lots and lots of really beautiful motorcycles. So Barkbusters have produced carbon fibre Barkbusters, handguards to make your bike not only more comfortable but look great too. So Matthew, how did this come about that you're making carbon fibre handguards?
The carbon fibre was developed as a bit of a fun thing or a bling thing for those of us who have a love of carbon fibre. Initially it was designed for street bikes, but we've had a lot of guys with adventure bikes like to fit it up on those as well. It's made of real carbon fibre, handmade with a nice gloss finish, and looks great on most bikes.
Catch a full-length version of this video about Barkbusters at cycletalk.com.au. You can buy Barkbusters at just about any bike shop in the country, and you can find a lot more information at barkbusters.net.
There's a Ventura bike pack system for just about any bike you can think of. In fact, they make them for over 2,000 different models, even old classics. New Zealand-owned company, and they've been around for over 30 years. They build the most versatile motorcycle luggage systems, and we're going to show you why. Each system centres around the L bracket, and you can clearly see the L on this bracket here. Now, they are model specific, and each L bracket is a little bit different to suit the particular model that you've got. Now, this bracket is off our Honda Blackbird, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to fit. It's time to fit the pack frame, and the best way to do it is to leave the L brackets a little bit loose while you fit this on. In nice and easy, then you tighten the L brackets up. Depending on what system you've purchased, say Sports Rack or the Grab Rail, changing them is dead easy. Undo your locking device, away you go. There are 7 different bike packs available, from little 10 litre ones right up to the Rally Euro box style here, which expands up to 56 litres. Now take the 47 litre Mistral pack or the 31 litre Bora on the front here. You can use them separately, or in this case zip together. Taking them off's easy. And new for 2014 is the Astro top box. Can fit a helmet, light jacket, pair of gloves, lockable, great for just cruising into town if you need a bit of security. And swapping them over, once again, dead easy. So whether you're commuting to work and you need a little 10 litre jobby for your sports bike, or you're going on a full-blown tour around Australia, Ventura has got you covered.